What's up, creatives? Today, I'm going to be giving you a few tips as a beginning photographer or somebody who's just interested. Now, this may go for photography, videography, or film. So let's get into the video. So recently, I posted this video on my Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions about photography, videography, or film and anything in the spectrum of work, please feel free to comment under this video. I got a DM from Maxim who says, "Hey man, I saw your reel on Instagram about that I could DM you if I had any questions. I have my own detailing company for cars and I want to work more with professional photos and make more photos of cars because I just like it. I bought a camera, but I am totally new to this type of thing. Do you maybe have any advice for me?" Don't buy camera gear yet. The reason for saying that is, from my experiences, other photographers that I've seen beginning or myself, when I got a camera, I realized 3 months after that I wanted or needed something better. Just because from what I had learned, I realized there's more I could get from other products that I'm not getting from what I have. And based on the amount of knowledge you gain, you realize your camera is limiting you. So I would say hold back, figure out what you want before you buy a gear. Now, the rest of this is not gonna go in any order just because I wanna give you the advice. It's not really a do this before this or do this before that. It's more of like, here's an advice, use it whenever you see fits based on where you are as a creative. I mean, shoot everything, weddings, portraits, especially if you're beginning, because you don't have to pick a niche in the beginning and you really don't have to pick a niche in the future if you don't want to. If things work out for you, how you run it, you don't have to pick a niche. But I would say in the beginning, shoot any and everything, mainly because shooting any and everything gives you different scenarios where you can use your knowledge you've been learning to try and problem solve. That way you're not stuck with one way of operating and you have a very versatile way of approaching things. Now, when I say models, you may think of people, but I also mean models as in things. So depending on what you want to go in, I think Maxim said he's doing stuff with cars. Cars can be models. You can find other products. You can find things in nature. You can use people, but always find new models. One, because again, it's going to give you a wide range, a variety of knowledge on how to operate around certain models in regards to people or certain places or certain things. In cities, you can find a range of people just moving about by their day. Now, if you see somebody who looks like they're in a rush, probably don't do this, but my advice for finding new cities is you can find a lot of places, a lot of things, and a lot of people available. In cities, people are always coming and going. I like to go to New York for this because I can get street portraits that look good with people who I see fit an aesthetic that I would like to capture. So going to cities, you get a variety of things to capture, especially when it comes to people. And it's just as simple as, hey, my name's this, I do this, would you be interested in this? It's free. I wouldn't say charge them because you're stopping them and then you're telling them to pay you. Now in the future you can do this. However, if this is not your gig, this is not what you do, I would say do it for free just to get that experience. And also you can let them know that you're a beginner and this is for your own test purposes. They may usually ask you, hey, is this going to be posted? And then you can just let them know yes, no, maybe. I don't think I have to really explain on that. Don't be shy. Ask any and everybody you can for assistance, whatever you need. Don't be shy. Not to say if you're introverted, like you can just erase being shy, like, or if you're shy, you can erase it, but at least try to work on it for your photography purposes or your videography purposes. At some point, you would realize what gear you would want to use or what gear you see fits what you like to shoot. And at that point, I would say buy the gear you need, not really the gear you want. Mainly because when you start to buy gears that you want, you find yourself spending too much for something that you're not using or for something that has properties that you like but you don't use. Especially if you're beginning, that's not money you have in regards to, like, you're not making money from the work itself to buy those things. Now, you may be well off or you may have the resources to be able to afford that, but also it's still a waste of just buying gear because it looks good when you don't know how to use it. It speaks for itself. Gear does matter in all caps. I mean, I'm screaming this, okay? Gear does matter. A lot of people will say gear doesn't matter, and a lot of people have come into the realization like it's not really a good example or teaching to say that, because when those same individuals, or if you had a bigger gig, you wouldn't want to show up with your iPhone, unless that's what the gig called for, because they're going for an aesthetic with that. But you wouldn't want to show up to certain gigs with certain gears because it's gonna take away your credibility. And to your own self, gear does matter, because in order to get better quality, in order to get better results, you have to broaden your horizon on gear. You have to use better gear. So gear does matter. I don't know why anybody would think gear doesn't matter, because it does. Now, again, if you're experienced versus non-experienced, you may have a slight upper hand, or it might not be that much of an underhand for you, but the gear still does matter. Practice does not make perfect. I believe there's no such thing as perfect, and if you do try to achieve perfect, most of the times you may just be disappointing yourself. Practice will make you better if you're practicing the right way. If you keep practicing and it's still doing the wrong things, you're still doing the wrong things and getting better at doing the wrong thing. If you're practicing and practicing better, or practicing a good way of doing what you used to do, or a better way of doing what you used to do, well, you're gonna get better because you're practicing in a better way. So keep that in mind. Good practice makes you better. Bad practice keeps you where you are. Not to say you can't use others' works or others' achievements to set for yourself as a goal in order to like make your way up in photography, videography, film, whatever it may be. However, don't judge yourself in how good you are based on how good somebody else is, because you don't know about their practice, their resources, their time put in, their advancement in whatever the craft is, maybe from playing creativity as an actual person who is just creative. So do not base your work on theirs. Also, their work may be an influence of where they live and the people around them. You may not live in that same surrounding or have those people around you or those places / things around you to make those type of work. So judging your work on somebody else's work is almost like you're bound to set yourself up for failure, unless you're using it to set yourself up, as in like, oh, my work is a little better than that. But even at that rate, you can't still say your work is better than that, because your work may not be if you guys were on the same playing field with the same materials, ideology, knowledge, whatever it may be. Do not take YouTube for granted. Learn as much as you can from everybody online. I mean, YouTube has touched me so much, taught a lot of other people so much, and there's so many great creatives out here. Just watch the YouTube videos, learn. You're not copying. You can copy for learning purposes, but you're also using that method of copying to get better, that method of copying to learn more. I mean, there's nothing we do now that has not come from somebody else. Do use YouTube to your advantage and the people on this platform. Build relationships with other photographers, videographers, or whatever creative it may be in the spectrum of work you're looking at. Mainly because, one, there's somewhere you're probably trying to get. They also have knowledge you might be wanting to acquire. So building with them helps you learn from them, helps you have people on your side when you need people to work with, when you need people to, bring onto the team, people to bring onto a job that you have, because not everything you do is gonna end up being a one-man job. You're most likely gonna need help at some point. And the bigger your team becomes, the bigger your clientele becomes, you're always gonna need somebody who you can depend on, somebody who you trust. So building with other photographers or creatives, especially on the level that you're trying to get at or a level that you're at, even below you, because you can also bring them up to where you're at. But I would say always try to build with people who are moving in the same direction, as in they want to move forward, not backwards. Do as much free work as you can in the beginning, only because this way you can get as much in your portfolio, you can get as much practice, and you can help yourself get away from doing free shoots when you are established or when you are close to that point. Just because sometimes you might learn as much from YouTube and other, platforms or people that you are now at an intermediate level or a professional level, but you still don't have a portfolio. So doing the free stuff, you get a portfolio that, yes, was free, but is to your liking or is to the standards that you're at. That way, when you go to get clients or book clients or send somebody a quote, when they ask to see your work, you're not left stranded because they have nothing to see, which now brings your value down in their mind. Just do free work. You're gonna get free promotion also, because those free works are gonna go to somebody else and be like, yo, I did this with this person. Now again, with the free work, why I'm saying doing it in the beginning is because when they go to tell somebody else, they're most likely going to tell that person, I got this work from this person for free. This person did this for me for free. So you see how that's not gonna really help you if you do this when you're like getting better, because now everybody you're doing free stuff for is going to the next person telling them you did it for free, which means everybody coming in is expecting free or very less than when it comes to your compensation. So the earlier you do the free stuff and as much of it as possible, the better for your income when it comes to your photography or videography business / craft / hobby, whatever you'd like to call it. So in the beginning, you may not have gear. Like I said in the beginning, do not buy gear, only because I would say you don't fully know what you would like to use, how it works, if there's something better for cheaper. In this case, I would say in the beginning, use your phone. Most of us have phones these days. If you don't have a phone, I may lean you more towards buying gear instead of a phone, because usually if you don't have a phone, then really you don't really need a phone. So I'd rather you go just buy gear, because then, well, it's not like you can use your phone because you don't have gear. But if you do have the phone, use the phone as much as possible. It may not have certain settings, but you can still use it for other things like composition, talking with clients during the shoot, just a couple of other things you'll learn when you get into certain parts of whatever photography, videography, or film work you're trying to do. But use your phone. It's there. You have it most likely all the time. Just use it. I know it may sound crazy to say, hey, use your phone when you could just buy a camera. But remember, you're also beginning. Nobody's gonna really judge you for bringing your phone. Even if they did, it's free work. Like I said, they can't really expect you to bring out a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 production team, cameras and equipment when you're doing it for free. Don't get me wrong, you can do free work at a higher level based on the client and what that's gonna do for you and the client. That's different. But in the beginning stage, your phone works. Sorry, but your phone works. You probably have seen a lot of videos on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok of people comparing phones to bigger camera gears, or people just generally showing you how to use your phone for photography or videography. So use the phone. Now this one, a lot of people, I don't know if I should say a lot, I don't have an exact number of this, but you will have debates on this. Some people don't like to edit. Some people feel as though I take the picture, that's it. But I would say learn how to edit, mainly because when you start to get into certain scenarios and getting higher and getting certain clients, you will realize that editing, one, saves you sometimes, two, it enhances your work, making it different from others. You can have your own style of editing. You don't have to do it the way everybody else do. However, do learn so you can know what you like and what you don't like. And I'm saying learn editing in the beginning, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you learn all about using the camera, and then all you've done is learn how to use the camera, you buy the camera, you take pictures, and now you have to learn how to edit, and you already have good images. Because then if you don't know how to edit, you're gonna take those good images, do whatever it did in the beginning, And then later down the line, you're gonna be like, man, those are some good pictures. I wish I didn't already use them, because I could have edited them a lot better. So yes, learn how to edit in the beginning as well as taking the actual image or video. Do them both at the same time. That way, when you do get the camera, everything is at a level that you would like. This one is mainly for video. Learn sound, just because when you come to like realization that sound is very important for video, you would know the difference in like watching other people's stuff and watching certain stuff versus other stuff, where you hear the video and you don't just see the video, where you can close your eyes and enjoy the video while not seeing anything. Sound is very important, even if it's not even like a sound design type of thing, even if it's just listening to the sound as something clean, clear, understandable. Just learn sound. Same thing with the editing, same thing with the camera settings. Just learn them all together, just because it helps. It really helps when you go to put your first video together or your first reel and somebody sees it and they're like, wow, this is your first video? Like, what in the world? That also helps you level up with your prices when that time comes, because then you're not gonna take, again, forever to realize, oh, making my sound better, helps me get these kind of clients because they see the video as a full production. Because if you think about it, if you learned just how to use the camera, right? You learn the camera and then now you're just taking pictures and editing them poorly. Okay, that's one phase of life. And then after that, you figure out how to edit it, then that's one phase of life. And then you figure out how to do audio, and then that's one phase of life. And then you figure out how to edit audio, that's another phase of life. Yes, you can go that way. That may take you a couple years, that may take you a couple months, but doing them together, especially in the beginning when you have no gigs or nothing to like really take up your time, you're helping yourself level up a lot faster. And the last one is really just utilize all resources possible. Like I said, phones, people, internet, everything. Also, college students, if you want to start photography, and I think some high schools may have this, but most places have departments that have photography, videography, and film equipment. I know when I went to UD, when I first started, that's where I used to get my camera from. 3-day rental. I would go there the first day, have the camera for the 3 days, drop it off, and be there the next day to pick it up for another 3 days and do the same thing over and over. And mind you, they don't care if you use the camera for gigs or schoolwork. You just have to take the camera in, take it back. And most of the places also have editing suites for free. Like I said, most universities. So you can use the university suite to do your editing, and you'll be doing photography basically for free. And if you have any friends or family or just anybody who does photography, reach out. This is part of the free work. Reach out. Hey, I see you do photography. I'm looking to get into photography. Is there any way I can help you out on some of your shoots, just for learning purposes and to help you out, have an extra hand? Don't go trying to get free stuff for free. Like, even with the school stuff, you're paying for school, so technically you're paying for that. And when you go to other creatives, offering your service, it's like your payment, right? Mainly because some creatives may not take the time to say, hey, yes, I'm just gonna sit every day and answer questions, or take time to make you videos back on what you need, just because that's also time that it could be used into something else. It's a lot easier and it's a lot helpful for you also, because you'll be doing hands-on learning if you ask to go out with them, or if you ask to sit on them editing, or just anything like that. But anyways, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot of tips, a lot of ideas, and a lot of creative ways to start doing photography, videography, and or film, and more. However, like I said, this is the end of the video, so I'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe, comments, any other questions you have, or if you have anything that I said that you need clarification on, just make sure to leave it in the comment section below. I'll get to you guys. But until the next one, stay creative.